Q&A video because I get a lot of questions that kind of come in super frequently, and I have a lot of new people coming in, so I just figured I would make a video that I could always link people back to that kind of answers the basic questions I always get. So first of all, I kind of just want to go over mine and Justin's relationship. In high school, I had a best friend named Kristen, and we'd been best friends for years. And then I switched high schools to actually follow my boyfriend at the time. And when I went over to the new school, I met Jake, and he became my best friend at that school, and I was like, these are my two best friends, I'm gonna introduce them. And lo and behold, 2 years later, they got married, and at their wedding, I was the maid of honor, and Justin was the best man. And that's how I met Justin that day. This is something we're kind of gonna make a video about, like the whole story, but essentially I met him at my best friend's wedding that I introduced, so that was really cool. I am 21, Justin just turned 23. Justin was actually born and raised in Southern California, and I was born and raised in Southern Utah. He recently moved up there, and I met him there, and then we moved from Utah to here in North Carolina, where he is stationed for the Marine Corps. I do get a lot of questions if I'm LDS, which is the primary religion in Utah where we are from, and no, I am not. Justin was raised LDS, and being raised in Utah, you cannot help but kind of almost be raised LDS in a way. You're surrounded by it. I think like 80% of the population is that religion, and they follow it religiously. Without doing church or anything, I kind of almost was raised with the same values that that church goes with, but I don't believe in what they believe in, and I'm not religious in any way. I don't have a religion, and neither does Justin. So Justin and I got married less than a year after we actually met. I think it was like 9 months after we met in August. We got married in March. August, September, October, November, December, January, February, March. So 7 months after we met, we got married. It was kind of like a crazy whole whirlwind type thing, and I like don't regret it a little bit. Not one bit. We had been engaged for about 2 months, and then one day we woke up and we were like, let's go get married today. And so we called the courthouse, and they were like, you can be here in 30 minutes, we can marry you. And so we walked down there and we got a marriage license, and we got married that day, and that was it. We got married on March 31st of 2014, I believe. And it's been awesome ever since. So the next thing I get a ton of questions about is Justin. What does he do? Kind of stuff like that. He is a Marine, or he's in the Marines. He went to schooling to be a field radio operator, but he is currently deployed on the 26th MEU, and that means he's on a boat, and people always ask me where he is, and honestly, because he's on a boat, he's everywhere. They are traveling kind of to tons of different places. They're kind of just going everywhere. Sometimes they make stops, sometimes they just float out in the ocean. And I can't really say a ton. Like, I know where he is at most times, but I can't say a ton because it's kind of secret, I guess. They always tell me not to talk about it. So he's just on the 26 MEU. He goes to a ton of different places. He left in late September, and he'll be back in early July. So he's gone for about 9 months. Anyway, so Justin went to school to be a field radio operator, which he goes to work for every day, and I always ask him what he did at work, and he says, I just stood around. And like, so I literally don't know what he does during the day. I just know that he goes to work for like 10 hours a day. So that's all I know. I really can't tell you what Justin does. I just know what it's called, because whenever I ask him, he doesn't tell me. But on the ship that he's on during deployment, he got switched to a group called Combat Cargo, and that also I don't know what he does. So, but he likes it way more than his other job, but it's just temporary for deployment. So with Justin and YouTube, at first I actually started doing YouTube so I could show him what I was doing with my day while he was gone at school and at training and stuff like that. And so I started YouTube for him, and then we moved across the country and we both did it so our families could see. And he definitely had a hard time vlogging at first. He was always so supportive. He always liked that I vlogged, but he always had a hard time vlogging. Like, he would never want to or remember to, but he's crazy supportive. And then as our channel's gotten more popular, I've gotten him into filming more, and he loves it. He's super supportive, and every time I tell him like what subscriber count we're at, he like freaks out and he's always so proud. And like it's awesome to have a support system like that. It kind of sucks that I trained him, or I didn't train him, I like taught him to film and actually vlog, and then he left like a week later. The next thing I get tons of questions about is Lincoln. I get this question almost every day. Why did I name her Lincoln? That's a boy's name. Oh my gosh, so is Taylor. Weird, right? I was raised with the most generic name ever, Taylor Brown. I actually had 3 Taylor Browns in my high school, and I didn't even go to a big high school. I went to a high school with like 1,000 people, and there were 3 Taylor Browns there, and I was constantly getting mixed up. Me, my brother, and my sister all have unisex names, Taylor, Jordan, and Jesse, and so it could go either way. So that's why I didn't think it was that crazy when I named her Lincoln, because I kind of have a boy's name. It's not a big deal. I've always liked that name. It's very historic. It is a cool name. It's not, and even like in guys, it's not super common, but it's not something crazy. Like in Utah where I'm from, people name their kids the weirdest things, like Chauncey and Brooklyn, and like things that almost sound normal but are super weird. So I gave her a super normal name, but it wasn't common, and I like it. I think it's unique, and it bugs me to no end when people ask me, why would you name her that? That's a boy's name. It's like, calm down, like back up. I name my child what I want. She was born on August 20th, and she was actually born on her due date, just like me. I was born on August 6th, and that was my due date. We have her on a sleeping schedule now, and I get a lot of questions about that, so I will just like type it in the down bar here, and I'll just kind of like go hour by hour what I do with her for her sleeping schedule. I also get a lot of questions about if she's my only child, because in a few videos I've said I don't want any more children. People kind of assume it's because I didn't like the whole birth process, but my kind of plan most of my life was to never have any kids. And then I kind of decided that I wanted children, and so I had Lincoln, and now I really don't want any more. Like, I love her with every fiber of my being, and I'm happy with her. Like, I don't really want another baby. Next are the dogs. I have Bella, which I'll put a picture here, and I have Huck, which I'll put a picture here. Bella is 4 years old as of right now. She was born in 2011, and she's a peach. She's awesome. I love her. She's an Australian Shepherd Border Collie mix, which is exactly what I wanted in a dog. One day I came home from school and I googled Australian Shepherd Border Collie mix, and I found her on the internet, but the lady wasn't emailing me back. So I like stalked her pictures and found out what house was hers, because like I recognized the area, and I literally went and knocked on her door and I was like, are you selling dogs? Can I have one? And it was really creepy of me, but that's how I ended up with Bella, and she is my first child and I love her. And then Huck, oh my gosh, Huck. He is Justin's dream dog. His whole life he's had purebred golden retrievers. His mom, his aunt, his grandma, they all have them. And so when he saw Huck, he had to have him. And he's a handful. He's in that puppy stage, so he is ridiculous. He was born in 2015. And he's just interesting. He's dumb, but he's cute. They are both spayed and neutered, and they're both microchipped, because that's the requirement for where we live on this military base, is they have to be spayed and neutered and they have to be microchipped. But I was gonna do that anyway. I actually had Bella spayed as soon as I got her, so that was 4 years ago. Speaking of housing, we live in Jacksonville. We live on Camp Lejeune base, and I am moving out of this house to move back to Utah while Justin is deployed. It's not really a big concern for me because the military pays for movers to come move all my stuff out, put it in a storage unit, and then when I come back, I just have to go into housing, ask for a house, and then they'll give me my options and I'll pick one. The movers move everything back in, and it's as simple as that. I've seen a lot of people make a big deal that it's hard to get into base housing, but it took us literally hours to get into this house. It wasn't even a whole day. Coming up in the end of October, I'm actually moving from here to Utah, where my family and Justin's family both are. and I'm moving in with my parents because they're there. I will be there for the entirety of Justin's deployment just because I don't want to be here alone when I have the opportunity to go home and Lincoln has the opportunity to meet everyone in her family, because literally my entire family is there. I get the question, will you vlog in Utah? Heck yeah, I'll vlog in Utah. I'll have way more to do out there than I will here. My life is super boring here. I have my best friends out there. I have my whole family. My brother's there. My sister actually lives in California, but I'm going to go visit her because I'll actually be within driving distance of California instead of like 30-something hours away. Lastly, the thing I get a ton of questions on is actually my schooling. So I'm actually like 3 years outside of high school, but I've only done 1 year of college, and it was actually done in high school while I was in my senior year. How schooling in Utah works is if you don't take seminary, which is a church class, you can graduate a full year early. So I essentially didn't have a senior year of high school because I never took that religious class that everyone else was taking. So during that year, I did what's called concurrent enrollment, which is where I get to go to college for free as a high school student and get college credit. So I did a full year of college in my senior year of high school, and then I spent 3 years kind of doing whatever I wanted to. I had a long distance boyfriend at the time. I visited him a lot. I worked. I kind of just like did the whole take a break thing, but it lasted 3 years. When I moved out here, I decided to get back into college because I had always planned to, and I figured no better time than the present. So at the time when I decided to start college, I was a business management major with a minor in entrepreneurship, and I recently changed that to a psychology major with no minor. And I'm still finishing up my general ed classes. So currently this semester I am taking an art class, a computer class, a science class, and a political science class. So those are my 4 classes. I am a full-time college student, but I do it 100% online because I'm actually in the college that's in Utah. And so when I go back, I'm going to be doing my spring semester actually on campus. I do plan on being a stay-at-home mom with Lincoln until she goes to school, and so in that time I'll be finishing all my schooling and my everything I need. And after that, I'm not sure what I want to do with my psychology major. I've been thinking about being a counselor at like a school, or here on base there's tons of people that need counseling. Like there's the Marines need counseling, marriage counseling, like children need counseling here, because it is a very intense, stressful life. So I've been really considering doing that. It just kind of depends on where Justin decides to go with his career, but that's my plan so far. I get the question, how do you do school and Lincoln and all this stuff? And pretty much I just break it up into small increments. Like today, Lincoln took her first nap, so I cleaned the house. Lincoln took her second nap, so we went and ran errands. Lincoln took her third nap, so I did my schoolwork for the day. And now it's 1 p.m. and I've done everything I need to do for the day. And I just kind of like keep an ongoing to-do list, and I just watch it, make sure I get everything done. And with everything I have going on between the dogs, Lincoln, Justin, my life, school, YouTube, I don't really feel that stressed or busy. I just kind of make sure I spread it across a few days so that I never feel stressed, or I always make sure I get things done ahead of time, so I'm not trying to do things last minute while Lincoln's like screaming. So those are the most frequently asked questions I get, so I just went over kind of like the basics of them. Okay, thank you for watching this video. I hope it answers your questions. Bye!